Good morning, guys. My name is Ms. Rolsey. So today I'm going to be teaching you about the rhetorical triangle so that we can learn about arguments and argumentative essays. We're going to be learning about the rhetorical triangle so that we can learn how to break down commercials first, and then we're going to be eventually breaking down an argument or a speech. Then we're going to be utilizing this to write your essays for the 9 weeks, okay? So first of all, let's get into what the rhetorical triangle looks like. It is literally a triangle. Now, the rhetorical triangle is an equilateral triangle, meaning that all sides are equal. You will notice that my triangle is not equal because 1, I am not a math teacher, and 2, I'm not an art teacher. Therefore, my triangle does not look perfect. However, I am an English teacher, so you're going to get the best of me that you can. And I did draw a little equal symbol down here in the bottom corner, so that you will know that this is supposed to be an equilateral triangle. Now, let's start off with breaking down the word rhetoric or rhetorical. The word rhetorical, I'm sorry, I'm getting used to this. Please forgive me. I'm not very good with the videos yet. I'm getting there. The word rhetorical can be broken down with the word rhetoric. And, well, a rhetor, please forgive my marker, a rhetor is simply one who argues, and we want to be people who argue well. I know that you've probably already seen people who don't argue well, and trust me, you don't want to be someone who doesn't know how to argue well because that means that you don't know how to get your way. Plain and simple. If you can't argue well, you don't know how to get your way. And when you do know how to argue well, it's fairly simple to get your way. And guess what? We want to get our ways. And we want to get our ways logically. And we want to get our ways the right way, not the wrong way, not by stealing or by taking what's not rightfully ours. We want to get our ways in the proper way. So we have to learn about the rhetorical triangle. Now, in writing or in an argument, there we go, we have 3 points. We got the author, the subject, and the audience. Now, give me a second and I'm going to write this down, okay? And we have audience. And in the middle of all of this, we have our purpose. Okay, now that we have our author, our subject, and our audience, we have our purpose in the middle. All of these things need to connect, okay? So that's our second step. They need to connect. So we're gonna have my author connecting with my subject. That's our topic. Okay, going off screen here. And my subject connecting with my audience. And most of all, we need my subject, well, my audience and my author to connect, okay? Now, a lot of times, our audience may not be familiar with the subject, but it's the author's job to make sure that the audience gets to know the subject, okay? And we need to have our purpose. Why is it that the author is making this speech or using this commercial or talking to this person even? That's the purpose, okay? So, first of all, we need to go over a couple of keywords here. We need to talk about ethos, okay? Now, in English too, I know that Mr. Tanig and Miss Kane talked about ethos, pathos, and logos. So we're going to talk about ethos first. And the author is the one who needs ethos. So you might get to meet a cat here soon. I'm sorry. If a cat jumps on the table, I'm very sorry. If a cat jumps on my lap, I'm very sorry. So let me write this down really quickly. Okay, so ethos connects with the author, and it means that the author has credibility. So with my being an English teacher, you probably would not expect me to do your math homework. Now, with my being an English teacher, you probably would expect me to give you some pretty awesome book recommendations. And I could talk your ear off about books for a pretty long time, and that would be okay. But don't expect me to do your Algebra 2 homework or to give you some really awesome advice on your pre-cal homework, because I haven't done those things since I was in high school, and I may not remember how to do all those things. Now, if I do some studying, yeah, I'm pretty good at it. But otherwise, it's not something that I do in my daily life. So stick with asking your math teachers for help with that. Okay? Don't come to me with that. Now, our subject, well, let's go to the audience first, okay? Because that's who you are. Now, when the author is talking to the audience, if they start using a bunch of words that the audience doesn't understand or that they're not interested in, the audience is going to fade away and they're going to lose interest really quickly. They're going to start checking their phones, maybe looking at email, maybe even leaving the room. And that's not good. So you want to talk in terms that the audience is going to understand. That means that we need to have pathos or pathos, depending on your dialect or where you're from. Okay, so let me write that down. Okay, so our pathos or pathos is the emotional appeals, how our author connects with the audience. Now, that can be done in lots of different ways. And some attention grabbers that an author may use to connect with the audience may come in the form of devices that you have already learned in your English 1 or English 2 classes, such as alliteration, metaphor, simile, irony, allusion, or paradox. Those are just some examples, but those are not what you're limited to using. That is not what you as an author are limited to using when you are speaking to someone. So lots of times in rap music or in commercials or in movies, you will see these stars or just writers in general utilizing these techniques to capture your attention. Okay, so the next part that we're going to talk about is the subject matter. And that's where logos comes in. So the logos is is the author's ability to have logic and their ways that they organize their argument. Okay, so when that's written down or broken down even, that's how you, as the viewer or the listener, the person who is receiving the message, that's how you decide whether or not you're going to go with the message or go against the message. So that is the appeal that you receive, okay? So the subject gets the logos, the logic, and the organization. So let me write that down. Forgive my handwriting. So the logic and organization can be shown in lots of different ways throughout arguments. So that can be an emotional appeal to emotions. It could be an appeal to truth and trust. It could be an appeal to repetition, okay? Sometimes when you hear commercials, they'll say the same things over and over again. And have you ever noticed how whenever you're watching the TV, commercials are always so much louder than the actual television show that you have to turn them down and then turn the TV show back up whenever you're watching it? That's because commercials want you to hear their message so much louder than the television show. That's actually a tactic. They're trying to get you to purchase whatever it is that they're selling, and they do that by making it louder. That's also something that people, especially Americans, do unintentionally whenever they're talking to someone who doesn't speak the same language that they do, in hopes that their message will come across. even though they don't speak the same language. It's something that we do unintentionally. It's just something that we've learned or been taught. It's not that we're doing it on purpose. It's just that it's something that we've been taught and trained. So that's something that happens. When you're watching TV next time, or when you're watching Hulu, next time that you see a commercial, take note. The commercials are louder than the TV show, I promise. Okay? There's also bandwagon appeal, and there's also the appeal to reason and logic. So there's lots of different ways that people will try to get their arguments across to you, and you just have to decide whether or not you're going to accept that argument or deny that argument, turn it down. It's up to you, the listener or the audience, to decide whether that argument fits you and whether the author is credible enough to actually give that argument to suit the purpose. So let's look at a commercial. Let's take a look at a commercial. Let's look at one that I know that everyone has heard of or seen of. The Sarah McLachlan ASPCA commercial where she's sitting on the couch with the dog or the cat, and the terrible music is playing in the background, in the arms of the angel. And a whole bunch of sick, sad little puppies and kittens are shown on the screen. And they're asking for money from you to be donated so that they can save all these puppies and kittens and different animals from abuse all around the world. Now, if you're an animal lover, yes, of course, you feel a twinge of pain right here in the heart. On this side, that's where my heart is, right here. And that's because the author, who is stating the argument, Sarah McLachlan, her song is playing in the background, so she's got credibility right there. She's a vegetarian. She's a humanitarian. She's obviously doing this commercial, so she's got some credibility in that. She's probably donated money to this cause and organization. She's sitting with a dog, so she obviously likes animals. The audience is us, the viewer, and the purpose is to get us to donate money to the ASPCA in order to help save the lives of animals who are in danger or at risk. The subject, saving lives of animals. And the platform that they use, which is television, media, appeals to us emotionally. Are they successful? I say that they are, because they're still running the commercials. The organization is still running. They are receiving donations daily, tons of money. And they're a worldwide organization. So yes, I would say that they are successful in their purpose of getting people to donate money in order for them to keep functioning as an organization. So later on in the week, you guys are going to be viewing commercials and probably drawing your own triangles to decide who is the author, what is the subject, who is the audience, what is their purpose. You're probably going to need to tell us what is their author credibility, what is the logic and organization of their argument, and what is the emotional appeal that they use in order to get their point across to the audience. And you're going to need to tell what the purpose of their commercial is. You also need to tell whether or not they're successful in their endeavor. Okay? So this has been Miss Rolsey teaching you about the rhetorical triangle. I hope you've learned a lot. I know that I've enjoyed teaching you about this and making this video because it's giving me lots of practice. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. I know that I have. I'll be seeing you next time that I make a video. Hopefully it will be soon. Enjoy your day.